When you see a single cell like yeast, you don't imagine how many opportunities you have to use yeast as an ingredient. And this ingredient, it is very versatile for pet food formulation and brings a lot of components for enhance the nutritional profile, immunological profile of a pet diet, or even the palatability for pet diets.
Hello and welcome to the Pet Food Science Podcast brought to you by Wisenetics. My name is Jan Sobodolski. I'm here at Texas A&M University and I'm dedicated to bring you the latest insights and discussions into the pet food science industry. So get ready to expand your knowledge and stay ahead with today's episodes. And I really want to welcome today my guest. It's Thaila Putarov, who is from the company Biorigin. Thaila is from Brazil. So welcome, Thaila.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
And today's topic is going to be about yeast and especially beta-glucans, right? So Thaila, what I like to do usually is to let my guests introduce themselves. We have a wide audience, so we are always interested, what is your career path? Where did you start? What did you start studying? And how did you really come up where you are? And my understanding is you work for the company Biorigin, correct?
I think that most of the people who choose to work with pet nutrition is kind of passionate about pets. And with me, it was not so different. And this passion naturally led me to get a bachelor's degree in animal science in São Paulo State University here in Brazil. And my connection with yeasts started in my master's, and it kept during my PhD program because the topics of my dissertation and my thesis were related to the effects of selenium yeast and on as an ingredient for pet food formulas. And these allowed me to broaden my knowledge on selenium and yeasts too. And also in topics such as reproduction, immunology, overall general health, and bioavailability of selenium yeast for sure. Then I had the opportunity to get a position as a postdoctoral researcher in the laboratory of Dr. Carciofi. Dr. Carciofi supervises a research center here in Brazil of pet nutrition. And I also was the coordinator of the lab for almost 7 years. And in 2020, I decided to change a little bit the direction of my career and got a position as a technical manager of companion animal nutrition at Biorigin. And since then, I am talking about the benefits of yeasts for pets and trying to show their benefits and their immunological and nutritional properties and exploring a little bit the use, the palatability of the yeasts.
For more than 20 years, Biorigin manufactures high-quality yeast-based ingredients through a sustainable biotechnological process, guaranteeing full traceability from the crop to the bowl. Through specialization in the fermentation process, Biorigin brings the right solution for specific nutritional, palatability, and health appeals, such as gut health, immune system, skin health, weight control, and more. Biorigin's products are natural origin, non-GMO, and certified sustainable by Bonsucro. Biorigin is your partner for high-quality, yeast-based ingredients to add value to pet foods worldwide. Learn more at biorigin.net.
And even furthermore, at the moment, you're the global head of business for animal health and nutrition, correct, at Biorigin. Can you tell us a little bit of Biorigin itself? What is the focus of the company?
Biorigin, it is a Brazilian company located in the state of São Paulo, and we produce yeasts and yeast derivatives for animal nutrition and also for human nutrition. There are plenty of ingredients and with several functionalities, different functionalities that can be applied for pet food, for example.
So why yeast? I think there's obviously a huge trend of superfoods and super, functional foods and so on. What is yeast? Why can fit yeast in the category of very important functional ingredients?
When you see a single cell like yeast, you don't imagine how many opportunities you have to use yeast as an ingredient. And this ingredient, it is very versatile for pet food formulation, and brings a lot of components for enhance the nutritional profile, immunological profile of a pet diet, or even the palatability for pet diets. One of the key benefits of yeast it is that it is rich in nutritional content, including quality proteins, high quality proteins, essential amino acids, vitamins, mainly vitamins B, and minerals. And this will contribute to the well-being of pets. Yeasts are very well known because of their immunological benefits, and there is a kind of myth about yeasts in the past, and it is rich in beta-glucans and monoligosaccharides that can improve the gut health, the immune system. So you can apply in different pet food categories. You can apply in different pet food types. You can include yeast in the dough before extrusion. You can use yeast to improve palatability and use yeast by coating after extrusion. So if you know the difference between these ingredients and how you can add in the correct or in the adequate level of inclusion, so you can have this versatile portfolio of ingredients to make some special claims or special uses in the pet food formulas.
So let me ask you two questions. One, you said myth. So what was that myth that is not true anymore?
No, not the truth anymore, but now we know how yeasts work.
Okay.
So we understand the difference between all the yeast ingredients. So what is the difference between dry yeast or a hydrolyzed yeast? How to apply to improve the palatability or even the nutritional content? Or, for example, why to use a purified beta-glucan for a specific diet and not for a general diet? Why to use the whole yeast cell wall? So I think we start make everything clear about the yeast.
Well, can you give us a few examples? I think it's very interesting. And so the differences between the dry yeast and the whole cell wall. So you mentioned a few categories. Can you give us a few examples? When would you use them? And what claims you could do?
When you use dry yeast is the whole cell of yeast, and you can use as a protein source to improve palatability. So you can consider that in the amino acid profile of the pet diets. Then you can, as I said before, you can include into the dough, or you can use by coating, or you can use in a pelletant, for example, to improve the overall taste. Hydrolyzed yeast is the whole cell yeast, where it's produced by breaking down the yeast cells through an enzymatic process. However, you don't break the yeast cell wall completely. You make like small rolls, and the internal content just came out. And you have a product richer in nutrients that's going to be more available because they are in a free condition, like free amino acids. So you improve the level of free amino acids, for example, when you compare to the dry yeast. Vitamin B, you improve the levels of vitamin B2 when you have the hydrolyzed yeast. And according to the different hydrolyzations of the yeast, you can have different types of products and also improve the palatability in different ways. Okay, because you have the degree of hydrolyzation. Then a very common ingredient that human industry uses a lot, it is the yeast extract. And yeast extract, it is just the internal content of the yeast. So you have the whole cell, and you just remove these, and you keep the yeast cell wall. And with these yeast extracts, you can improve palatability. You can have ingredients as free nucleotides, for example, because you can have, again, do it to some processing by biotechnological processing. You can have different yeast extracts and you can use for different claims. For example, if you have a high nucleotide uh, product, you can use for a puppy diet or a senior diet and try to improve their health overall. And also, yeast extracts are very used for palatability. And for example, you can have different flavors. And interesting parts that you can have different meaty flavors without using any kind of meat. That can help a lot in some veg diets, for example, or even you have a dog or a cat with specific needs in a situation that needs a specific diet, for example, that dogs or cats are not eating very well, you can use these because they has nucleotides and also free glutamic acid, and it's really high in free glutamic acid, and you can use these as a tool for special diets, for example.
Great.
Because there is the yeast cell wall, and I think after the dry yeast is the most used ingredient to be applied at pet food formulas, and you can have like the yeast cell wall when you consider beta-glucans and monoligosaccharides, and it's a very non-prebiotic. And also you can remove the external layer of the monoligosaccharides layer that is more external than the beta-glucan layers. You can have the purified beta-glucan, and one plays a role as a real prebiotic, and the other one, the purified beta-glucan, has a huge performance, a superior performance when we talk about immunological properties.
So I'm kind of interested with the beta-glucans because they're becoming more and more popular. First of all, my understanding is there are different beta-glucans, right? Depending on the linking. And so how do you manufacture those? What is the kind of the process to differentiate them? And what is the difference between the different beta-glucans?
You can have beta-glucans from bacteria, from vegetables like oats, for example, from fungi, or from algae, and also from yeast. The difference between these all types of beta-glucan, it is related to the structure of the molecule, because yeast beta-glucan is 1316 beta-glucan, and this structure connects to the cells into the gut, and these stimulate the macrophages in more intense than the other beta-glucans. And for example, if you have a beta-glucan extracted from the from a vegetable, from oat, for example, you are going to have the beta 314 beta-glucan, and this is more applied for metabolic situations than for immunological condition. And also the extraction of beta-glucan is also very important because when you, as I told you, you have the polysaccharide layer and you have beta-glucan and then monoligosaccharides, and then you remove the layer of monoligosaccharides that's more external than beta-glucan. You have to do this process very carefully because you can remove the 1316, the brains of 1316 beta-glucan, and this is going to lose the efficacy of the product.
So in the end, just to summarize, it depends the source of beta-glucans, correct?
Depends on the source of beta-glucans, yes.
And also depends on how you ultimately extract them.
Mm-hmm.
So what is, when you add it to food, so can you, again, I think you mentioned a few times, but maybe to summarize, when you add those beta-glucans to pet foods, what is the effect on health and immune modulation more in detail? So what do we expect?
Okay, when you fed beta-glucans, yeast beta-glucans, and considering the immune system of the animal, you are going to see that this beta-glucan is going to activate the immune system of the animal through the connection of the cells into the gut, in the wall of the gut, mainly macrophages. So this beta-glucan is not going, the purified beta-glucan is not going to be fermented, or just a small portion is going to be fermented. The major part is going to have this interaction with the gut cell, and this is going to activate the macrophages. And it's going to start the whole immune cascade. So you are going to because there is some receptors on the immune cells, and it links directly to these receptors like dectin-1, and you start preparing, you are training the body of the animal to face against diseases, or to be more prepared, considering a challenge condition, and this is going to help the animal during these difficult times or this phase. For example, for vaccination, before vaccination for puppies, it really helps to improve, to stimulate the immune system and the answer of antibodies for these pets. For senior animals, is going to be a very good tool, because again they start having problems, joint problems, for example, and there is the inflammation of the body, and the beta-glucan, purified beta-glucan, because acts directly to the cell, can help this. You can see some differences, considering to reduce or to give a support during the inflammation of the body. It is important to say that it's not a medication, it's not a medicine. However, it gives a support, it alleviates a little bit, because when you give beta-glucans, you stimulate the anti-inflammatory cytokines,
Mhm.
and this alleviates the whole inflammation into the body.
You mentioned mostly young animals and older animals. Is there a risk of hyperstimulation of the immune system, or is there benefit of giving it all the time for the whole life stages, or is it better to give it for some certain, you know, at risk situations?
No, I mentioned just these two ages, just two phases of the animals, because it's more like a tool in a good in this. It's going to help a lot in these two situations. However, you can use in all life stages, because it's a natural ingredient, a natural molecule. So we extract it from a microorganism that is very used, or it is used for a long time, and for maintenance is also very good for animals, for example, that has high performance. It is well recommended. So beta-glucan can be used for all life stages, because it's a natural and a safe ingredient. It comes from a microorganism that it is used uh, since the Egyptians and before that. So you, it's a natural molecule, and because of this, it's safe. I just mentioned that it is for puppies and for senior dogs, just to give an example. But for example, during maintenance, for sure, it is well recommended, because you are going to stimulate the immune system of this animal. You are going to train the immune system of this animal, and it's going to be more prepared to face some challenge during their life. and it's not going to hyperstimulate the use. We also recommend the continuous use of beta-glucans because you just give a small stimulation. It's not uh, in a high level that you are going to add to the pet food diet, and because of this, you can control this stimulation. Also, the body when it starts, because the first answer is going to be like a pro-inflammatory answer, and then there is the stimulation to the anti-inflammatory answer response. And also, you're going to start the antioxidant system of the animals, and this is going to moderate. So it's going to modulate the immune system.
That's great. I mean, I think there's other questions about other, obviously, chronic conditions like obesity, overweight. Is there any data about beta-glucans and managing weight in animals?
Yes, in 2022, it was just published a scientific paper where you can find some information about obese dogs and the use of beta-glucan for these obese dogs. And this was the first information where yeast beta-glucan cause a response on metabolic parameters, and it helps to reduce the inflammation of the obesity, and then also controls the glucose levels and insulin levels. And one very interesting finding of the paper was related to the satiety of the dogs. So the GLP-1 was much higher in dogs that were fed beta-glucan comparing to the other animals. And we know that's really hard to control the desire of eating of the dogs, of an obese dog, and also the desire of giving more food by the pet owner. And this can be a tool to understand better and to help on a weight loss program, for example, for dogs or for cats.
So I guess the beta-glucans have a lot of potential of modulating immune system, correct? It seems like almost every diet should contain beta-glucans, which brings me to a question: supplement versus diet. Could this also beta-glucans be a possible supplement in case it cannot be added to the diet for whatever reason?
Yes, as I told you before, you can use beta glucan in different forms. So you can add to the pet food diets because it is very stable in high temperatures. You can see we have some papers showing that, and also you can give as a supplement. And an interesting information is that we have there is a scientific information also where we compared the extruded diet and the supplementation, and the parameters, the answers like for uh, um, immune system, interleukins, or even some immune cells were pretty much the same. And I think it's easier to give by the food, through the food, because sometimes people have some problems to offer the supplements individually for the animal. But you can use as even in solutions, sorry, but even in liquid solutions, you can offer beta glucans for pets.
Great. I mean, that brings me actually to one more question: is there like a latent periods? How long do you have to give it until you see the first immune stimulation?
There are also an information about these scientific papers where you can see. We recommend using 15 days, 14 days to guarantee that you're going to have your the immune system of your animal trained accordingly to have a great performance using beta glucans. But in some animals, 7 days you can see some difference, but the average is going to be 14 days continuously.
It's time for our famous 3. ProAmpac, your companion in pet packaging. Visit pets.proampac.com to explore our innovative sustainable solutions, such as our QuadFlex recyclable flat bottom bags, ProDura polywoven bags, ProEvo recyclable paper bags with grease resistance, and our proactive recyclable film and pouches that run at optimum speeds on your filling equipment. Elevate your wet food, treats, and kibble brand by utilizing packaging that safeguards and preserves product freshness. Trust ProAmpac for packaging that cares for your pets and the planet. pets.proampac.com.
Makes perfect sense. So I think we are getting to the end of our time. Is there anything else you want to tell us that I maybe forgot to ask that you think is important about yeast and or beta-glucans?
I think I would like just to reinforce the difference between how to use the yeast cell wall and the purified beta-glucans. Both are good tools, but for different, they have different roles and functionality into the body. And if you need to apply more, if your diet or you need your the animals need more attention on immune system, it is we recommend to use the purified beta-glucan and to consider some good health benefits. The yeast cell wall should be the best option for both.
That's great. So thank you, Thaila Putarov, and thank you also for Biorigin, who sponsored this episode. I think they have a lot of expertise in the use of yeast and beta-glucans. So that concludes our episode of the Pet Food Science Podcast, presented to you by Wisenetics. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to be informed of upcoming episodes. Also leave us a review, and your feedback is very valuable to us. And until next time, my name is Jan Sobodowski, and I see you soon on the Pet Food Science Podcast. Bye-bye.